Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here, a type of video I haven't done in quite some time, which is a recent finds video. Just the new stuff that's kind of come in. Uh, Probably because I haven't been buying a lot of stuff at all. You would think with the whole pandemic and us being locked in and having nothing to do for hours and hours, you would be clicking away buying all kinds of stuff, but I have not really been buying anything during this time frame. Um, right before the lockdown really kicked in, there was a number of pieces I picked up. And you guys know I work at a record store and I work strictly for store credit. And I picked up a number of things right before the lockdown. And then for about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks during the lockdown, I really didn't, do much of anything. Um, but the stores always had really good online sales, and of course they've really kind of boomed even more since the lockdown. So I kind of got back on and was doing some stuff online and got some more credit, and so I was able to order some more stuff. So I guess eventually kind of a stack of stuff came up with new finds, but really outside of that, there's only one album I've actually got online and purchased like with money this entire time. Um, so yeah, I just want to kind of jump on board and share that with you. And just in case too, because I probably haven't mentioned this as much. The store that I work at is called Music Record Shop, and they do have a store online, Music Record Shop, but then they're also on Discogs too under Music Record Shop out of St. Louis. So definitely go over there and kind of check it out. I mean, I know there's been a lot of stuff they've been putting online. Any given time there's 3, 4,000 plus pieces that are on there. The guys that do all the stuff online, obviously I know them very well, trust their grading and all of that, so you kind of know exactly what you're getting and how your stuff's going to be handled and all of that. Even a number of things on there, stuff that I list for them and that type of thing. So good selection, really awesome things. So yeah, definitely go to Discogs and check out Music Record Shop. And if you do buy something from there, make sure you put a note or something, when you do your purchase, to let them know you're from the vinyl community, from the VC. I've been talking with a number of the guys around there about the VC and all of that. So I think if people start going there and purchasing stuff, I would just kind of, just like for them to know that the VC is kind of the real deal and to, you know, pay attention to people that are coming from the VC that are buyers because we can be loyal and long time buyers for sure. But anyway, let's kind of jump right into it. Actually, no, we're not, because there's one more thing I wanted to say. I wanted to thank everyone that tuned into the live stream that Billy Hurst hosted last night, uh, and thank him for inviting me in to do that. Um, I mean, it went for like 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I could have swore it was a 15-minute type of ordeal. I can't believe it went that fast. I had such a blast, shooting the crap with Billy, all you guys that tuned in, listening to your comments and the questions that you had and all that great stuff. It was really, really awesome. Um, Especially too because there was a lot of the guys that have been around forever and have been around for quite some time that were there, people that I knew. And there was also, I think there were three new people that I didn't know, whom I, was kind of introduced to with your comments and I subscribed to your channel over the past or last night and then a couple this morning as well. And so yeah, just meeting new friends and everything is kind of awesome as well. So that was just a really, really cool experience. It was even kind of funny because the Vinyl Guru, who had a lot of questions and comments last night, the entire time I thought I was talking to someone else because I got her name mixed up, her username mixed up with somebody else's. So, yeah, so I actually, discovered that she was a new person I had not subbed to, it hadn't seen her channel or anything as well. So it was just a really, really cool overall event, and I cannot wait to do it again. Which, hint, hint, this coming weekend, uh, Billy, myself, and a couple other people probably are going to be jumping on board and doing another one as well, kind of live stream. So just, kind of keep an ear out over the next day or two. We'll probably post some more information about that. So if you, blah, blah, anyone wants to jump on board, we'll make sure to kind of know when and what we're doing. But yeah, so thanks a lot, guys. I truly, truly appreciate that. That was so much fun. So let's just kind of jump into the recent finds. We're going to start here with Aaron Enderlin. All right, and this is Faulkner Country. Now, this is an album I picked up strictly off the recommendation of Billy Hurst. And that doesn't happen too often where, especially as much as vinyl costs these days, if it's something you don't really know, you can always pull up your phone and listen to some of it or, get online and kind of check it out first. Really, over the past few months, there's probably two albums that I've gone out and purchased without hearing anything off of it, but just strictly going by someone's word. And of course, that someone was Billy Hurst. And that was Bruce Springsteen, Western Stars. When Billy told me about it and described it the way he did, I was like, it's done. And when I was watching another live stream that he was doing, I think it was a live stream, he talked about this album, um, Aaron Enderlin. And I remember him saying something to the effect of it being like a modern day Loretta Lynn. I think that was like one sentence that he put in his whole description. And as soon as he did, I was like, done deal. I trust Billy. I'm grabbing that. And sure as crap, he he nailed it. I mean, this album, it's funny because when I told Billy I got it, and he started to kind of describe it to me, one of the things he said about it was that it's so pure. And I was like, man, that is so funny because that is exactly the word that I used when I was listening to it. And and to me, what that pure means is that it's I'm not gonna say stripped down, but it's great songs, amazing lyrics. So the lyrics definitely pull you in. I love the sound of I guess, kind of the slide guitar that's being played in it. It's just a really, really beautiful sound. But the big thing is that every single space is not full. Like they didn't make an effort to try to fill in every space by saying, okay, well, let's put background singers in here. Okay, let's put more violin in here. Trying to fill up the space. They just let the spaces flow, and it's okay to have some dead space and then to come back in some solo space, if you will. And they just do that to perfection on this album. I mean, it sounds fantastic. And I told Billy, I was like, that's the funny thing about it is that's the exact word that I used is that it's pure. Um, Favorite song off of here is I Can Be Your Whiskey. Just at least so far, that's my favorite song. But definitely worth it and an awesome addition to the country collection. So amazing recommendation there, man. So it actually wasn't even a recommendation. I was just listening to him talk about it in another video. Um, so really, really cool stuff. So moving right along, a couple of I don't know if these are reissues or if these are being issued for the first time or not, but really cool to see on vinyl. You got the Killing the Dragon by Dio. Very, very cool to finally have on vinyl. This is from 2002. Definitely one of his later albums that not quite as well known. Um, yeah, I mean, always great to have Dio. And again, I said I don't remember if these have ever been issued or not, but of course they always have to try to put a little gimmick to it or something, if you will. As you can kind of see, it's one of those covers that kind of gives like the 3D or kind of the dimension type of thing. And I'm just like, why? We like I'm just one that kind of feels I don't need the gimmicky stuff to. It's like it's Dio. You can't just walk. Up until this was issued, you couldn't just walk out and find this album everywhere. Dio fans are gonna grab it. Just give us a solid black vinyl pressing that sounds good. We'll buy it. You don't have to do all this stuff. Personal feeling deep down inside. Overall, my feeling is, hey, you pressed it. I'm not going to bitch about it. We can get Dio on vinyl, Dio that we normally can't get on vinyl. So I'm not going to bitch about that. I'm going to be happy. And so, again, Killing the Dragon from 2002, I believe. And then also this one here, which is Angry Machines. And again, they did the whole 3D kind of cover thing from 1996. But yeah, glad to have it on vinyl. So between the box set and these again, issues slash reissues. I mean, they've pretty much almost gone back through the whole Dio catalog. And there's one more I'm waiting to come in. I put an order on it, but it just hasn't come into the shop yet. So as soon as that shows up, we'll definitely be grabbing that. Next, moving to Motorhead here, 1973, 77, I'm sorry. Early Motorhead, back on black, pressing, and just kind of still working towards completing my Motorhead collection. And this is just, early Lemmy doing what he does. So great stuff there. A band that's somewhat new to me, which is Ibis. Actually, kind of discovered them when I was just randomly flipping through some different videos on YouTube, and this popped up and came into the shop, so I was able to pick it up. But yeah, again, not really knowing the band as well as I will. Really, kind of the most I can say about it right now is it's just kind of some very cool, is it mid 70s progressive rock type of stuff. And as you're listening to each song, each can be a little bit different. Some of it can sound kind of not folky, but definitely back towards just kind of a basic 70s kind of medium hard kind of rock, but then all of a sudden it'll go into a very progressive style type of thing. So again, kind of an interesting band, and it's just one that I'm really discovering now, and I'm sure we'll get into a lot deeper as we go along. And this was pressed on a yellow vinyl. So cool addition there. Always great to discover new bands. And then this one here, which is one I've been wanting to get for at least a couple of months now. This is July. This is their self-titled album from 1968, I believe. And really the best way to describe this is just kind of some cool, wacky, in places type of psychedelic stuff. Very, very interesting record to say the least. I know Dylan over at Noble Records has shown this or mentioned it once or twice in some of his videos. And right before the lockdown happened, I was at another record shop, and he had gotten in a reissue, and I just saw it sitting on the counter, and I asked him about it, and he actually played it, and he was telling me about it. He was very, very familiar with the album. But that was the same time I bought that Black Sabbath Tear, and that had kind of taken up all my credit, and I was like, well, I don't have another 20, $30 to go spend on these other things that I wanted, so I went ahead and passed it by. But yeah, lucky enough, the owner over at the music record shop was able to order it for me. So it would get in a very nice music on vinyl pressing. I think the originals run a pretty penny, which, most of that original Psych stuff. But if you have to get something reissued, music on vinyl is a great place to do it. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, awesome psychedelic stuff there, and I highly recommend this album. And I say that about music on vinyl in case there's someone out there maybe that isn't as familiar with it. My description of music on vinyl is that is the poor man or the average man's audiophile. For those of us that can't go out and spend tons and tons of money on every single MoFi pressing or every single Japanese pressing and all of that, music on vinyl is probably the one label that consistently comes in with just fantastic pressing after pressing after pressing. Now, I think someone said, was that Melinda? Was that you, Melinda? That said that Quiet Riot was kind of crappy or wasn't a very good pressing. Maybe it was somebody else. I don't want to put those words in your mouth if it wasn't you, but I think someone said something about the Quiet Riot wasn't that great. But that's like really one of the only complaints I've heard about anyone who buys the music on vinyl ever complaining about one. So that's one for a couple of thousand is not bad, I guess. But moving right along, Susie Quattro. Again, an artist that I just was not as familiar with, but really, really kind of dug this album. Actually, what I should say about this, it's a good album, has songs on it that I like. I like Move It and a couple other things that were on here. Very good stuff. But my first impression after listening to this was, okay, she's kind of the real deal in terms of, one of the few chicks back during the early mid 70s who could bring it, like Like she's the real deal from a rock and roll perspective. And my first impression after listening to this album was, yeah, that was good, but I would love to hear more tougher, brutal songs thrown her way because she can do it. That type of thing. She's that kind of kick-ass Joan Jett type of rock and roll. So again, I'm not familiar with a lot of her catalog, so I'm looking forward to kind of diving more into it because you can definitely tell she has the skills to rock and roll. But um, awesome addition there. Glad to introduce her into my collection. And then we have a little Buffalo Springfield here, kind of a just kind of a greatest hits type of thing with what it's worth and a lot of expecting to fly, which might be my favorite song by Buffalo Springfield. Love that song. It's just kind of the chorus and it's kind of ghostly, and it has that Neil Young harmony to it. You can just hear Neil Young all up and down in that song, and it's, I don't know, probably my favorite Buffalo Springfield song. But just kind of a nice, good, greatest hits. If you don't have any other Buffalo Springfield, that's definitely a great one to have. Jason Isbell. This is just one of his albums I hadn't picked up yet. It's not my favorite out of his catalog, but still very good. His worst album is still better than most people's average albums whatsoever. But yeah, there's a couple others I like a little better than this one, but this is still a solid one. Sirens of the Ditch. So just kind of, again, one to kind of fill in that part of my collection. And a little dedication, Herbie Hancock, that Record Store Day Japanese release. I guess flash that kind of quick, sorry. Just that glare. Excuse me. And I mean, what can I say? It's Herbie. Herbie doing his funk jazz thing. Uh, especially back in kind of the mid '70s. You know, just awesome stuff. Really, really awesome. I think that's one of the things that I think is so awesome about Herbie is, we had those early days of, being right there with Miles Davis and Coltrane, and having that opportunity to really be around and work and play with those kind of guys, and then him moving into what was going on with the funk and the psychedelic stuff of the '70s, even going to maybe early '80s when he brought those two worlds together. I mean, it was just awesome stuff, which is probably why I like Headhunters is still probably one of my favorite albums by him. Now this one here, talk about one I was so happy to get. Muriel Grossman, if I can get it shining there right, Golden Rule. Whew, you don't know how long I stressed in wanting to get this album. Excuse me. Diana showed this in one of her videos months and months ago. Diana, I always forget what country she's from, but she's all about the jazz fusion, and just like she just knows that stuff left and right and is always picking up amazing stuff. Well, she showed this Muriel Grossman Golden Rule and Reverence one day in one of her videos, and I go listen to it and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've got to have that. Well, it came out on some small label. There was only 500 copies of each pressed, and it was, you're not getting your hands on one. If you did find one on Discogs, the one or two that were there, they were $200, and I was like, no. So she told me, I heard they're going to be doing some reissues at the beginning of 2020, and I just kind of wrote her word for it, and sure as crap, they did the reissues. So I was so pumped to get this. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time since I've wanted a record as bad as I wanted this one. And just like I described Reverence when I showed that one a month or two ago when I got it, the best way to describe this album is it makes you believe in reincarnation because John Coltrane came back as a white woman. And that's what happened. Now, now don't get me wrong, she's not going to get into the same nuances and that type of thing. When Coltrane went Coltrane, you know, nobody's going to touch that. But when you listen to her style of play, the way she hears melodies and the way that she delivers melodies, It's very, very easy to hand this album to someone and say, and even reference her other album and say, this is John Coltrane album. There's some unreleased tracks. People will believe it just like that. And the sound of her sax and everything, um, she's got a little bit of Coltrane running through her veins without question, and that's what made me fall in love with this album and her other one so hard. So again, I'm going to say it again: if you are a Coltrane fan, you must have this album in your collection. Muriel Grossman. Matter of fact, I was so happy to get this. It's somewhere over in the UK when I ordered it. As you can see, it actually came with a little crease right there, which my first instinct was, "Are you freaking kidding me?" But then right after that, I was like, I don't care. I have a copy. Like, it's like, so we'll deal with it. If I stumble across a mint one somewhere, I'll buy another one for the cover, blah, blah, blah. But I am just happy to have this album in my collection. Fantastic jazz. And I think that album originally came out in 2018. So it's not like it's an old album whatsoever. I mean, she's a recent artist, and ooh, I would love to get the opportunity to see her live. Now, this next one here actually is $100 Fine, Litter. Really cool psychedelic album. Really, really cool psychedelic album. And so another great addition to that psych world that I'm trying to learn more about and all that good stuff. And really kind of cool story how I even discovered this album. I was I was shopping, just walking around the store. Actually, I was between meetings and I was driving to my next meeting. I stopped and walked around this store, and it's usually a store that doesn't have any type of high dollar type of stuff. Uh, and a copy of this popped out, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, whoa! And it has a decent price on it too. So I started looking at it and pulled out and realized it was an original. And so I thought, well, let me contact you guys know Dots and Loops because he's the psychedelic guru here. I didn't have his info, so I contacted Billy Hurst, and then Billy Hurst, hooked us up. But I had already left the store, but I was calling just to ask him, like, hey, what do you know about this? This seems like a, and he was like, oh my gosh, yes, that's freaking awesome. He goes, you know how much those things go for? It's worth three, four, five times the amount they're asking for it, and this and that. And me, I'm always in my flipping stage. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah. But then the way he's talking about it, he makes me realize, and he kind of he doesn't have that album, and it's something that like he thinks is a gem. Well, I'm like, well, shoot, the way you're talking about it, I'm gonna go get it. If you want it, I'll go back and get it for you. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, well, heck yeah. So I ran back and picked it up and was able to get it to him. And I was like, that was an awesome album. I got to buy a copy for myself. So I ended up just going out and buying the reissue. But so it was so awesome. That little triangle of VC, working and networking to get each other records was pretty awesome that day. It was a blast. It was really fun. Um, but yeah, just really, really cool psychedelic stuff. And that experience introduced me to the album. So that's awesome. Now, when I did that, of course, um, he sent me the money to buy it and all of that, so it was no skin off my teeth whatsoever. He paid for the shipping and everything, so I was just basically picking it up for him. But even with that, he decides to send me a VCLT package because that's what people in the VC are like. And he sent me this Armageddon, which again is another band that I had never heard of before. Um, but it's 1970, I think. And yeah, it's just another, just kind of really new, interesting piece. Kind of between this and the other one, kind of floating on the psychedelic krautrock rock type of thing, which again is the area I'm trying to get more into and learn more about because I'm just not very versed in that area. So that was, excuse me, one of the awesome ones that he sent me, as well as the Frumpy Attention, which I think Attention was like a, not a label, but like a series or something like that, I believe. But yeah, again, two really cool groups I was introduced to. Um, so yeah, man, Dots, man, I really appreciate you sending that over. I was really glad I was able to pick up that other piece for you as well, and it was just just an all-around good day. And of course, Billy Hurst for taking the time out and relaying messages and getting us information to each other and all that great stuff as well. So that was, yeah, just the beauty of the VC. And then the last two, I'll show this one right here, which is the London Symphony Orchestra. And it's just them doing Jethro Tull, doing Aqualung. Is what it boils down to, the Aqualung album. So it pretty much sounds probably exactly the way you think it would. But it's also kind of neat, especially the version of Aqualung that they do. I thought it was kind of neat. So that was a really cool pickup. I think I paid like $3 for it, like a brand new copy. So that was definitely worth the get. So nice mixture of the classical rock thing. And just the last one I'll show here, since it's sitting right here, Hurts So Bad. Just kind of a nice little compilation of early 60s soul. I actually says 60 to 65. And just, yeah, really nice piece. I mean, stuff like Ike and Tina, Fool in Love, Little Anthony, Hurts So Bad. What else? Aaron Neville's Over You. Yeah, just some really neat stuff. So that was a nice little, $2 find that I was like, heck yeah. Nice classic soul tracks there. But anyway, so there you go, VC. Those are the recent finds. I do have a couple other things on order from the music record shop that should be coming in. So hopefully there'll be, a couple other new finds. And I think I'm still sitting on like $250 of credit or something like that too. So I probably will be making a few purchases over the next week or two and bringing in some new stuff. But so hopefully I have a little bit more to show. But anyway, thanks for tuning in as always. Truly appreciate it. And again, thank you guys for tuning in last night. And as always, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, VC.